and let's discuss this a little bit. So basically, it reminded me of a story when I read this verse. And I should have Prabhu send me the verse. I read it and I remembered a story which Burijan Prabhu tells in his Memories of Srila Prabhupada. He says once in Hong Kong they were reading Krishna book, and the little, there's a big kind of majority of them were Indian aspiring devotees, and there was one little boy, and when they got to the pastime when Krishna swallowed the forest fire, so when time for questions came, Burjan asked any questions, and this little boy asked, "Who set the forest fire?" And he didn't know what to answer. He doesn't know who set the forest fire in Krishna Lila, and so he says, "Srila Prabhupada knows. So when he comes, you can ask him this question." And so he forgot that he even kind of said this, because weeks by and months went by, and then eventually Srila Prabhupada came, and he gave class, and it was time for questions, and so he asked. There was some completely different, philosophical discussion, probably from Bhagavad Gita, and then he asks any questions, and then there's a silence in the room, and this little boy raises a hand, and Prabhupada says, "Yes," and the boy says, "Who set the forest fire?" Just out of nowhere, the question, like not related, not original. Prabhu remembered, this whole prehistory of why this boy is asking this question. He was like, "Oh my goodness, this boy remembered my answer." Ask Srila Prabhupada when he comes. He came, so he asking the question right away. And Srila Prabhupada looks at him and he started his explanation exactly like in this purport. No one goes to set the fire to the forest, yet the fire takes place. And he starts all this full explanation about um, the material life, basically exactly as this purport begins about samsara, Navali, the Loka, and so forth. So it's important for acharyas and spiritual masters to speak the truth as it is, without, uh, even though it's not trendy, maybe it's not even comfortable to hear, but one has to speak the truth. And there's a duty of a spiritual master and an acharya to explain things as they are. Otherwise, we have no way to get out. And unless we enlighten from Jnana to Mirandasya. And it's the Bhagavad ages, it's actually inter intergalactical kind of it's like all pervading from all time and space, from all the planetary systems. In fact, demigods also know Srimad Bhagavatam, and so it's relevant all the time. But in Kali Yuga specifically, this is the mean and the way to counteract the bad influence of Kali Yuga. In fact, the sages of Sharanya have selected Sutta Goswami exactly for that purpose. They say in Kali Yuga is approaching, everything's going to be so bad. Please be our captain and set the sailing of this ship, of this boat, Srimad Bhagavatam, so we can hear and become immunized and protected from this bad age of Kali. So when Srila Prabhupada explains that everyone wants to be happy in the material world, but the miserable conditions of material life simply increase, specifically in Kali Yuga, they 100% simply increase. Because if we read even from Srimad Bhagavatam some descriptions of Satya Yuga, just a glimpse of it, we understand people were quite, satisfied. It was perfect time for realizing the Supreme, and people were living long life, having a beautiful memory. They didn't need the Vedas to be written down. They memorized everything by hearing, and they could meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, you know, thousands of years and attain perfection, and leave this body, quit this body, and go back to Godhead. In Kali Yuga, those rebels that are against the God, but also the whole age itself is filled with faults, with envy, with disruptions, with calamities, with with chaos, with improper. Everything is wrong. The memory is short, the health is bad, the life is short. The memory is bad, the life is short, the health is also poor. So the people are constantly unhappy. They've been exploited, and statistics of the family life. Let's just speak about the family life in general. Then we'll get to the Grihastha ashram, which is a completely different story. And the statistic rates of divorce in United States 2021 was 45%. That's an official statistics. You have to understand that many people don't even get married. So, so we cannot even see the full picture. But from that official statistics, we see that on average, marriage age, which is pretty good number, I would say. I was thinking it's going to be less, 3 years or so, but actually, first marriages last around 8 years, and it's 45% divorce rate. And if they get married again, second marriage, it's 50%. So it's even more. So the miseries are there, and people cannot even maintain the family life. But when they do, because they have the bodily concept of life, they are very unfortunate. Sometimes they lament, but they cannot get out of the situation because they identify themselves with the bodies, and so what else to do, right? And um, they're getting themselves more and more implicated in the miseries of life. Usually, it's financial strains and mismatch of characters and so forth. There are many reasons, violence that break the marriages apart, and it's a very difficult situation because people don't know the purpose of life. They don't have the aim of life. And Srila Prabhupada, as an acharya, gives us this aim of life by describing the beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam and the purpose. We can really understand what's the purpose of the marriage life, and then we come to Grihastha ashram. Now, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, first chapter, verse 21, um, it says there in that verse, Satyaham, Sattvaharam. Sattvaharam means that the of Naimisharanya, they're saying we are afraid of this coming age because there's pretty much no mode of goodness left. Sattva haram, it means it will be destroyed. The mode of goodness will be destroyed in this age. So if somebody thinks, okay, I kind of got the knowledge, so I'm going to try and live according to mode of goodness, good luck. Without Srimad Bhagavatam, without chanting of the holy name, in this age of Kali, it's impossible. It's almost impossible, practically impossible. You have to isolate yourself somewhere in Himalayas, maybe, and then you maybe will be lucky to live that kind of life and mode of goodness. But when Srila Prabhupada came to America, he said, "What do you want me to do here, Lord? I mean, this place is all filled with mode of ignorance and mode of passion, right? Anything you take from the soda drink, the sparkling water, to the sorry, those easy lovers. But anyway, the water, mode of goodness water is pure water. Anything that is added to the water becomes mode of passion. And if it becomes an alcohol added to the water, it becomes mode of ignorance. So we are constantly get our conscience affected, even as devotees, if we are, take those products in a mode of passion and, sometimes in a even mode of ignorance. So we have to be very careful. And for that, we need knowledge, and for that, we need the proper Shuddha Sattva situation where the pure mode of goodness, the spiritual mode of goodness, can descend through this transcendental process of hearing and chanting. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is extremely important. This is our shelter, which sages of Naimisharanya take in shelter, and saying, please do the same. Please find representative of Sutta Goswami, take shelter of him by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you have the captain and the boat, and then you're safe. Because those, and then you have mercy of acharyas, so that means the winds will blow you into the right direction. Also, the ship will sail very quickly to the proper destination, Goloka Vrindavan. So, so this is very important. And the Grihastha ashram, so we have on a farm right now 3 gentlemen that are transitioning to Grihastha ashram, and 3 of them are possessing intelligence. All 3 of them have perfect buddhi that Krishna gives them. Why? Because while trying to transition to the Grihastha ashram, they're not just falling into the trap of, getting attracted by just some kind of girl. No, they're approaching this. They want to. All 3 of them. They want serious devotee as their company for the rest of their ashram life. So that means they want an ashrama. Ashrama means a place where you actually have a shelter, a proper shelter where you are trying to you're making an attempt for self-realization, to understand the Supreme and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So Gurjan Prabhu quotes, I don't know what Shastra he quoted, but he said that one Grihastha is worth of 100 brahmacharis. One Vanaprastha is worth 100 Grihasthas, and one Nyasi is worth 100 Vanaprasthas. So there's such quote in some kind of scripture. I don't know where that quote was coming from. He didn't mention in his class. But it's an interesting understanding, because your responsibility increases as you move through the ashramas. Because when you're a brahmachari, just responsible for yourself, for your study. But when you're a grihastha, all of a sudden you're responsible for more people, at least family, and even more. You're trying to maintain the other ashramas, and so you're starting to expand in your responsibilities and proper responsibilities. So, and that's very honorable, and it's very nice. So Vanaprasthas, because they have the wisdom, and they started giving the shelter to many of the grihasthas because they've just been through the whole experience, so they can navigate, share the wisdom of their decades and decades in that service, in that ashram. And then, of course, sannyasis give shelter to all, and completely renounced and very, very focused, solely focused on the Supreme, serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead by words, body, and mind. So, but it does not exclude that you may develop Krishna consciousness to a certain extent on a level of a sannyasi while being in the other ashrama. That's not how to say, it's not exclusive just to sannyasa order of life. Srila Prabhupada was asked this question once, that this devotee is a grihastha, but Prabhupada, he serves 24 hours a day. He's just like so absorbed. And he had a family. I forgot his name in that conversation, a disciple. But Prabhupada said he is not a grihastha; he's a sannyasi. Prabhupada's word. So, and so that really shares that he, at that moment, he understood that it's the sannyasa. It's not just the external order of life, meaning bahirvas and saffron clothes and danda. No, it's actually the level of your renunciation and focus on service to Krishna. When you remember the Lord and serve Him all the time, that is sannyas. In fact, you remember, all of you, this another glorification of 3 grihasthas that to UK to preach Krishna consciousness, met the Beatles, and started the whole arrange for a temple and everything. It's done by the 3 couples, Shama Sundara with Malati Devi, Mukunda with Janaki, and Yamuna with Gurdas. So all 3, and still Saraswati as a witness with all. So, and Prabhupada said my grihasthas are better than sannyasis. So that was another example. Why? Just because of that, preaching. This is the only criteria. Preaching and remember the Lord, serving the Lord, fully engaged, Sannyasis are fully engaged, right? But grihasthas have to do certain things. But sometimes grihasthas live the very similar way how sannyasis live. I know grihasthas that are very actively absorbed in their service to Srila Prabhupada. So it's very interesting. So ashrama is different. So material life, family life, exactly like a blazing fire, yes, true. We asked the ashrama, family life, yes and no. Yes, we will have experienced the influence of material nature and modes attacking us and all of that. But if we're in ashrama and we have that protection, we have the process how to follow properly and how to be absorbed and how and encourage one another, then it's a different situation. It's a very, very beneficial situation. So, um, yes, Srila Prabhupada gives those definitions how to serve. It says, Naish Karma, the devotional service should be unalloyed. This word he used from seeing the billboard in Boston Harbor, unalloyed steel. So he even took devotees there on a walk once. They didn't know why he's taking us here. And then said, you see this? Unalloyed bhakti, unalloyed steel. So unalloyed devotional service means without any motive or material desire. And that's very, very high, a very pure stage of bhakti, actually. To serve Adyash Bilash Shunyam. Serve on that level of Naishkarmya. But even that, even that says that Akarma Sarakama Va Moksha Kama Udarati, Tirena Bhakti Yogina. So Tirena Bhakti Yogina, doesn't matter if you have affected by karma or you're not interested in any karmic activities, you're like even liberated soul, still read Srimad Bhagavatam, hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It's for all classes of men. Of course, the relish part will come when you are free of envy. That's why it's dear to the hearts of Vaishnavas. By definition, they're free of envy. That's why they're so attached to hearing about the devotees. Because when you hear about the devotees having this beautiful relationship with the Lord, your heart is blossoming, your soul enjoying. You are happy for those devotees. You don't envy them. You're happy. Like once, one young devotee, a lady, she asked Srila Prabhupada, so, is there a way, I see Radharani, Krishna gives the special attention to Radharani. Is there a way to kind of get rid of her so I can be on her place? So, that's how naive they were asking those questions back then, in the 60s, And Prabhupada, he looked at her and he said, well, Radharani is a very special girl. She's not, you cannot go like this. You have to go through her. You have to understand that she will give you the mercy to serve. And in fact, the system is placed in the spiritual world in such a way that once you develop this rasa of being dasa, dasa, anudasa, being the servant of the servant, the amount of happiness that you will experience is actually even more than what a person experiences while interacting with Krishna. So this immediately eliminates this whole concept of envy. In fact, the manjaris are apparently those little girls that don't even, they just serve the gopis to serve Krishna. They are experiencing the highest bliss. So, yes, so we have to understand this concept and learn from our acharyas. I've been sharing with Kalswarup the other day when we finished the altar that just think about it, about Rupa Goswami. When Lord Chaitanya went in Jagannath Puri to see Rupa Goswami, he started explicitly glorify his poetic skills and Vaishnava qualities in the presence of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, Svarupa Damodar, Swami, and there's somebody else, and then Haridas Thakur later when they came to the place. So, but even if you take those three Vaishnavas, they were senior to him by age. They were poetic. They were the kavis. They were the great poets also. All three of them. Svarupa Damodar Goswami, he knew all the verses, all the shastra. He was the one examining the poetry by others to testify and say, yes, you can read this to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Same for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, same for Ramananda Roy. And he was looking at them. He was glorifying out loud and looking at them. Will he see any tinge of envy? To this very young, by age. Also, he was outcasted. He was serving the Muslim government, so there was like a prehistory which one can say, who is this? Well, they were the personal servants and personal associates of the Lord. This little boy, kind of, for them, he just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and such a description, such an affection, such a tremendous appreciation. And what did they do? They all passed the test perfectly. They were so happy that Lord Chaitanya is happy. This happiness was their life and soul. He is happy, we're happy, that's it. This another devotee gets a super special mercy by Lord Chaitanya. How great that is. And when they came and, they forced him to recite many shlokas that he was writing on the palm leaves, and, he was just compiling his Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava poems and other verses. So they were asking him to read, and so they were embarrassing him, basically, in front of all of those seniors. He was very, very shy, extremely humble. And that's another part. So one thing is they were super happy, and when they were hearing him reciting, they were just getting more and more bliss, saying, yes, yes, especially Ramananda Roy, he was just in a complete ecstasy. He couldn't be, nobody could shut him down. He was just glorifying Rupa Goswami. And when they finished, and especially when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, to invoke prayers about Ishtadevata, and was super shy, and the devotees were present. So he had to say, and that was glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the moment Lord Chaitanya closed his ears. Everything was so nice, but you just spoiled it, And the devotees to say, hey, this is the most perfect thing they ever heard. What do you mean spoiled it? We're even more ecstatic now. So anyway, Lord Chaitanya had to play his role as a devotee of the Lord. He had to do this. And then Rupa Goswami, when everything was done, Hardas Thakur and everybody left, Hardas Thakur said, you're the most luckiest. So look how Lord Chaitanya places you in his heart, and how he empowers you, you know his heart and all that. He just glorifies him like anything. And Rupa Goswami says, I'm not doing anything. Everything is done by the Lord himself. All I did is just, I'm just an instrument in his hands. There's nothing to be puffed up about. There's nothing to, say, yes, I'm so glorious. He had zero pride. So those devotees had zero envy. These devotees 100% humble and had zero pride. That's the Vaishnava qualities. And so we have to hear about them. The more we hear about Vaishnavas, the softer our heart becomes. And the desire to become a Vaishnava starts to be more present and permanent. And eventually that desire could lead us to a proper chanting, to proper service, to proper attitude. And then, as Srila Prabhupada was asked the question, how would you recognize a Vaishnava? We know those 20 qualities of Vaishnava. But then the question, how? Prabhupada said he would be a perfect gentleman. Assuming also that it would be a perfect lady if we're talking about Vaishnavi. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the society of Srila Prabhupada's desire. Vaishnava means ladies and gentlemen. Meaning very, very gentle, sensitive persons knowing how to behave, the Vaishnava etiquette. By the way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here gave specific instructions to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. He said to Sanatana Goswami, he gave him 6 instructions, and 4 of them were connected with Vaishnava etiquette. Writing the books, educating, being an example like that. So out of 6, the 4 were how a Vaishnava actually conducts himself. And so Sanatana Goswami in this way wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is one of his, apart from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, this is the second most important, if not the first, I don't know. Anyway, both are extremely important 2 scriptures of his work. And Hari Bhakti Vilas explains so many things about how Vaishnava behaves. So Sambandha Jnana, he establishes how, if we know who is the Lord, if we know who we are, then now we have to learn how to learn to become Vaishnavas. How it looks like, how he behaves like that. So and he himself was exhibiting that example. He was taking care of every single person, and that's why in Shad Goswami Ashtaka we hear they had no enemies. Goswamis Vrindavan had no enemies. Even enemies came to consult, like bad people came to consult with them, because they had no fear that they're gonna steal or they're gonna, because they were equal poised. They were equal to everyone in giving them self-realization. All right, I have to stop here. We have 5 to 10 minutes for comments and questions. I have a little bit deviated from the original topic, but I hope it's interconnected, and we had some Vaishnava Katha, which is always nice. Hare Krishna. It's never enough of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm really looking forward that we can have longer Katha. But Kartik is also nice. It's like a controversy. Any comments, dear Vaishnavas?
I agree with you. There's never enough Srimad Bhagavatam. It's so wonderful. If class went on for hours, I'd be delighted. Hey, I'm reminded by some of your discussion. Oh, and I want to say, first of all, I'm really thrilled to have the opportunity to hear from you again. It's been a while. It's been quite a while, and I've really been missing your classes. I appreciate them very much. You do a great job. You are a beacon of light in the darkness. We should all become a beacon of light, and the process of Krishna consciousness will make a beacon of all of us in time. So we were talking about the relative position of the different ashrams, and of course, ultimately, our understanding is that we don't belong to any of these ashrams. Those are just temporary material designations. So I'm reminded of the verse that Srila Rupa Goswami from his Padyavali, which is an anthology of verses. There's the verse Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamale or Dasa Dasa Dasa. I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya or a Shudra, nor am I a Brahmachari or a householder or a Vanaprastha or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. So that's ultimately our real and eternal identity, and we can come to that position just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam with attention. We can appreciate Krishna's always existing with brilliance. Every word of Srimad Bhagavatam is brilliant and heavily laden with transcendental nectar. It's a wonderful meditation. And it gives us something to do. The mind is restless, always engaged in doing this and that. If we can fill the mind with the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, then the mind becomes perfectly engaged. It's a wonderful thing to be automatically engaged in Krishna's service all of the time, automatically. Krishna consciousness can become automatic for those who hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It becomes effortless. It's a wonderful thing. So I thank you, Prabhu. It's great to hear from you again. I hope you can find the time to do this more often. And sometime when you get a chance, I'm curious to hear what you know of the welfare of the Prabhus in Ukraine. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Tarka Prabhu. There's one comment in the chat. Hare Krishna Venu-Madhurya, thank you for the class. Nice class you had left me with a lot to think about around the topic of envy and learning about Vaishnava trace etiquette. Also, I'm feeling more inspired to hear the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam. Thanks again, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Lauren. Thank you for your comment. Anybody else like to say? I have to start Guru Puja in 5 minutes, so we still have 5 minutes. Trace is already here, so if you would like to say, or maybe a question, if it's a question.
Just thank you, Venu-Madhurya Prabhu, for handling a sensitive topic. Be interested if you could find some references for the statements about how many brahmacharis a grihastha is worth, and vice versa. But at least it makes us really focus on the quality of a person's service rather than superficial things like their varna and ashrama, because ultimately those are just the bodily concept of life. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And my reference was Burijan Prabhu. I'm listening to his tapes from VA Institute, the audio tape. In fact, I have a humble request. If somebody still have a Walkman, those little audio cassette players that you may have somewhere in your garage somewhere big, I would really love to have one. So, because I found all of those tapes in an ashram which were about to be thrown away, and I still have the audio cassette player in the car, in the 25 years old Toyota that I'm driving. So I'm listening to tapes there whenever I'm driving, really. So in that, this is the Bhagavad Gita Bhakti Shastri course that he was given in India. And so, in that one of the classes, he exactly said it, but he didn't quote, he just said in Shastra. So, unfortunately, I don't have, maybe we can research. Otherwise, this is my quote. Okay, Rajil Herbal, that was inspiring to hear from. Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. All right, so if there's nothing else, we can wrap it up. And yes, Thakur Prabhu, I'll be giving classes on Thursdays next and the week after, just to please you. And yeah, we just changes his culture, go on his little vacation. So and then we'll see. I don't know. Hare Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Kartik Mas ki jai. I hope your Damodar Vratas are successfully continued and let it be successful till the end. We have a Govardhan Puja celebration, in fact, two celebrations, which is even better, Sunday and Monday. So please join both days, one day, however you can. It would be very nice to have your presence and celebrate together. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma 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 Sabatmana Mate Vandake Murisa Jana Mate Anna Murisa Jana Mate Anna Murisa Mate Yadavra Sade Baba He Baba Toriya Yadavra Sade Baba He Baba Toriya Krishna Prapti Hum Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoite Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoite Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoite Hoite Guru Mukha Padmavakya Vitete Kuriya Vakya Guru Mukha Padmavakya Vitete Kuriya Vakya Kuriya Acha Arnadhari Mane Arnakare Mane Arnakare Mane Shiguru Charane Yate Esuje Yate Shiguru Charane Yate Esutama Yate Shiguru Charane Yate Esutama Yate Nitrasadi Pure Sarva Asham Nitrasadi Pure Sarva Sham Nitrasadi Pure Sarva Sham Nitrasadi Pure Lalita Vishaka, Lalita Vishaka Shirani. Lalita Vishaka, Lalita Vishaka Shirani. Tagore Sundarani, Tagore Sundarani.